Considering the atmosphere of distrust that already reigned supreme before the conduct of the congresses, you already knew that the congresses were going to be contentious. Isn't that right? Do you think it was right that nobody knew the members of the committee that was coming
That wasn't for us to determine. That wasn't for us to determine. The National Secretariat set up the committee, and they gave them their timeline for movement and all that. So for us, because I don't think the National will work to undermine the process.
Well,
I don't think so.
Let me address my first question to the Senator. Senator, you know, when you look at what is happening in your party in Rivers State today, and you consider the history, what happened in 2015, some people will look and say, why should the party be factionalized? Why should it be split? That maybe they say if you were the loyal soldier that you were in 2015, that this wouldn't be happening. What are your thoughts about those who say that this is just about your ambition?
That is a narrative that is being spun to discredit everything that we're trying to do. And people who are saying that have a right to say that because this is politics. Now, if you listen to my brother, Chris Feinborn, you will hear when he tried to spin in the fact that some people are working with the state government. That is also part of a narrative being spun at the national level to try to discredit whatever it is that we're doing to help the party. And I want to say that that is indeed very sad. And I'm saddened to hear those kind of comments. Everybody knows the extent, the sacrifice, the effort that we have put into trying to make this party work. And everybody, including my brother Chris, knows the level of resistance that is being put in trying to stop us from getting the party to work together.
But are you aware of any group called the M30?
Yes, I'm aware of M30.
Are they sponsored by you? Are they all, supporters?
You see, this is a democracy. M30 is a support group. Yes, they support me. But these are politicians that are known to all of them and all of us. They have a right to support who they want to support within the party. And they're a very effective mobilization group within the party. And they've been there for a very long time. So the issue of M30 issuing statement is, even from what Chris said, you can see that there was no information to the rest of the party. When they met and decided to wait for the people of National, coming from National, did they inform anybody else? Now, when the people from National came, did anybody else see them?
I'll tell you the allegations, Senator. Just, I think it was about yesterday or 2 days ago, the Minister for Transport was asked about what was happening with the congresses in the state, and he said, oh, since they say that there is no leader in the APC, since we are all leaders in the APC in Rivers State, and we want to conduct congresses, then let the congresses happen. Why won't they let the congresses happen? He believes that you have an intention, even though he didn't outrightly mention your name, but he believes that your supporters so far have prevented the conduct of congresses in Rivers State.
Let me say this, Bokwe. First of all,
just a moment. I think we should play the exact track and then you can respond to it, just in case I'm not quoting it correctly.
As early as 6 a.m., I gathered the information that talks had taken over the Secretariat of APC. And because of all this noise about police and all that, the police found it difficult, despite the fact that the APC had invited them to protect the property. Did they come? Yes. But they couldn't do anything. Meanwhile, the party needed to sell forms to anybody who was interested. So what a governorship candidate wants to do is that there should not be any Congress. So he took over the entire secretariat with talks that about 3 p.m. the police had to force themselves in to allow people to sell forms and for people to purchase forms. So if that candidate is popular, why not get your supporters to buy their forms and go and compete at the wards?
That's the allegation.
I don't see any allegation in what the minister is saying. First of all, the issue of my popularity...
First of all, just a moment. Do you think I was addressed to you?
Of course he's talking to me.
Okay.
Everybody in Nigeria knows he's talking to me. But to me, that is not the issue. And I don't want to be responding to things that are said by the minister for obvious reasons. Now, first, let us all understand the basics of what is going on here. we're having ward congresses in the party. It's not a governorship contest. It's not a governorship primary. There are people who want to be ward secretaries. There are people who want to be ward women leaders. There are people who want to be ward chairmen. They are the ones who went to purchase tellers on the instructions of the party. They are the ones who need to know what is going on. It is not me. So to assume that everybody who buys a teller and wants to contest, which the party has thrown open to people in the party, must necessarily be Magnus Abe, is not correct. That's the first thing. The second thing, sir, is that we have 314 wards in the state. If you say just 319, sorry. If you say just one person was trying to contest for each position, there are 26 positions or thereabout per ward. So that number alone, you're looking at over 8,000 persons. Over 8,000 persons. So if you're going to do something with 8,000 persons, that would not even be a contest, because it means it's one person for each position. So if you're going to contest, it means that most positions will have more than one person. So you're talking of thousands of people. Following the timeline of my brother Chris and what the minister himself had said, that by 4 o'clock they started selling forms. How many people will you need? I'm just looking at the logistics to deal with over 16 to 20,000 people with tellers. How many tables did you get? How many staff did you use? What entries did you make?
You know, Mr. Feinberg.
So clearly there was no intention from the outset to hold a congress in the state.
When you look at the process, we know that, you know, a faction of the party in your state opted to use A4, which of course, as you've said, doesn't come with so many materials. Now, we've heard from the Minister of Transport concerning the process of the option A4, and what he made very clear was that ultimately it comes down to what the national leadership of the party holding members of the party responsible in the process. Now, that comes back to the question of whether or not there's collusion between your faction of the party and the national leadership of the party under the leadership of John Oyegun. Some people have looked at the South-South caucus meeting that endorsed Adams Oshomole as the next chairman of the party, and noted that the chairman of the party in your state, which is a member of your faction, walked out of that meeting in favor of John Oyegun. Is there no possibility here that there is a collusion between the national leadership of your party and your faction of the party in your state to throw the ward congresses and the congresses of the party to your side of the divide?
Not at all. And two things are important for me to say here. Number one, Ajuri, you need to do your research to find out that we've gone past the endorsement or no endorsement of a candidate for national chairmanship. In fact, the very last meeting distinguished senators and distinguished senator here and other leaders of the party held was held in the home of the transportation minister, and even the Adam Oshomole himself was there. So we've gone past that stage. Two, a constant reference, you referring to factions in the party in Rivers State is probably misplaced. There are no factions in the party. What you are referring to could be people disagreeing on modalities for pursuit of an objective. But for us, that is how we say it. And so there are no factions in the party in Rivers State. There was no collusion between anybody, not just faction, anybody or group with the National Working Committee of the party, not at all. What happened was that on that morning of Friday, we got calls that people have invaded, coming to buy forms. And to any reasonable person will look different from invading a place and chanting war songs. And so calls came out to us that, look, buses and bus loads, and people coming to buy forms won't go and arrange themselves in buses and begin to come to the National State Secretariat. But information reached us that buses and buses of people were there, and the persons were chanting was, in fact, they have taken over the place.